When last we left our intrepid adventurers, Morgan is kneeling at the priest gate and trying to keep her composure enough so that she can finish the spell that opens it. All around the gate, the dark things, the sheesh, are pushing closer and closer to her. Almost all of the party members are hurt, and then suddenly there is a rush of light as the gate opens and pulls her and the characters through it. The sound of battle is suddenly gone, and now only the sound of an empty cavern fills their ears. The party checks each other to make sure they're all right, and that Duncan's wife is still with them. Scala approaches Morgan and compliments her on getting the gate open in time. Morgan says that she was about to give up when suddenly the evocation came into her mind unbidden, and her fingers worked the spell almost by themselves. Seraph looks around and asks where all the sheesh went. None of them seem to have been pulled through the gate with them. Morgan says that the sheesh are foul spawn, and the gate rejected them. Distaria doesn't have the power to use the gate, so they're safe on this side. For now. The cavern seems to have little work that's been done to it, except for in the middle of the cavern is a cistern. Akai and Finn are looking into it. It's full of blue water. Finn swishes his hand through it, but his hand comes up empty and dry. He asks if Morgan knows what this is. She tells him that this sarcophagus contains the tears of Chaldasea, the actual tears shed by the goddess herself when she observed the folly of man. They can only be removed by the goddess's consent, and they're kept here because they're a very powerful relic, and there are only 100 of them. Akai asks where they are, and Morgan says that they're in the fortress of Stantown in the southern continent of Sadakadish. She points to a set of stairs and leads them up and out of the cavern. Seraph asks if Distaria will follow them through the gate. In a tight-lipped manner, Morgan shakes her head no. She says for the time being, the priest gates are warded against her, but that may change in the future. Morgan tells them a little bit about Sadakadish. She says that there is only one empire on this continent, the Empire of Khan. She continues saying that the customs here are very strict, and she wants to tell them some things to make their stay a little bit easier. She says that it is considered impolite for a commoner to say the name of the emperor. Instead, they should always use the word Hingon. It's the word used for little chair, and it's used to symbolize the emperor. Also, if they see a three-legged stool, they should not sit on it, or even touch it. It's the emperor's symbol, and should be venerated. However, any chair with 4 legs is fair game to be sat on. Scala asks if there's anything else they should know. Morgan relates to the rest of the party that it is beneath the Hingon to trouble himself with running the empire. He has peace lords to do that for him. Each peace lord has a color, and that color represents them. She explains that she is married to Isaiah Tyr, the peace lord of the Red. She is his second wife. The first wife died years ago. She says that the empire is also very stratified. There are 3 main divisions: the farmers, the merchants, and the soldiers. Each has things they can and cannot do. The farmers own the land that they work, but they're not allowed to leave it without permission. And they're not allowed to have large amounts of money, and they're definitely not allowed weapons. Merchants are not allowed to own land or weapons. They may use large amounts of money, and they may travel where they need to go to. The soldiers are referred to as do. The Do are not allowed large amounts of money. They may travel, but they cannot own property. However, they do carry weapons. She catches her breath on the stairs for a minute. She says that even her husband, who is a leader of a grand army, is still just a Do. He owns no property, and their needs are taken care of, but they're not allowed large amounts of money. They come to the landing and enter a large hall. Morgan converses in another language with a servant, and the servant runs down the hall. Morgan informs the rest of the party that they will be taken to a series of rooms to rest, and they'll talk more tomorrow. Morgan takes a room close to the others. She cannot announce her return to the city without formally announcing it to her family first, and because of the late hour, she decides to send her husband a note and take a room next to the other party members. In her room alone, she prays that Chaldasea will look after her family and take care of her lost daughter. She is just finishing her prayers when there's a knock at the door.